So the melee, the scrum, whatever you want to call it.
There's only one melee.
Yeah, what, Malice in the Palace?
Yeah, that's a melee.
Yeah, that's a melee, or whatever this was.
Just in my definition.
All right. A minute 43 into the game.
This was a tussle.
A minute 43. Well, you had a chokehold too. A minute 43 into the game. Literally 10 minutes prior to that, we're running a clip with Draymond Green after Sunday's loss to the T-Wolves about taking accountability and how they need to be accountable and this and that and this and that. And then that happens. And it's like, all right, Dre, I love you, man. I love you. But you were just talking about being accountable and being a leader and winning the leadership role back.
Do you really take anything he says at a podium serious?
I mean, I don't know, man.
He's the most inconsistent,
I know.
Do as I say,
Absolutely
not as I
incredible.
do guy of all time.
I mean, he's gotten ejected from 2 of the last 3 games. All right? 2 of the last 3 games he's been ejected from. He got ejected in the game where they were down 10. And then he got ejected yesterday before the game even started, really.
Well, there's something to the young players. I don't know what it is. We've seen this consistent theme the last couple of years. But when the big guys, the quote-unquote made men, aren't playing, right? And by made men, I mean Steph, Dre, and Clay. When the made men aren't playing, the youngsters do feel liberated. They do. Because they're not sanctioned in the box of confinement of you're down here, we're up here, and there's something to that. Now, there's a reason why those guys are minted. I'm not saying that they are, but if they really want to go where they want to go, they need to be a unified front. And they're going to need some of these youngsters to take on more prominent roles. And I think the biggest problem that has happened with this team right now is that the implementation of some of the young players feels like it never happens because they're held to a certain standard that's not being carried across the board.
No doubt. There's a lot going on here. We got sound from the T-Wolves broadcast. We got sound from Pat Bev. I want to play this sound from Karl-Anthony Towns. We had a monster game, 33 points, 11 rebounds. Catman was prowling, dude. He was balling yesterday. Here's what Cat said about
and chirping.
Shout out to the Minnesota Wild. It was like a hockey game to start the game, but we just found a way to stay composed. It was a mature win. Try to rattle us, to try to get us off our game. We did a great job sticking to our game plan throughout the game and found a way to win.
Here's Chris Paul on what he thought about the fight.
It happens. I've been in one. You know what I mean? So it's competitive. It's funny because if you watch our games, hell, I used to play against them all the time. So you constantly hold Steph and Clay so they can't come off ball screens. So they can't come off down screens and stuff like that. So coach had told Clay before the game, like, get them off of you. You know what I mean? Probably not to that extent, but it was good to see that energy and that fire. Unfortunately, it was 2 ejections.
So that's Chris Paul thoughts about it. Here's the live broadcast from the Minnesota T-Wolves as Spadoni pulls it up here. Here's Jim Peterson. I forget the other guy's name, but Jim Peterson, who we had on the show yesterday. And, of course, he was on the pregame show on NBC Sports Bay Area. Here's what they thought in real time about the situation. All right. Sorry for the YouTube audience if you can't hear it. We'll try to get it up there on YouTube a little bit later. Hopefully we can. But that was Michael Grady, the play-by-play voice of the T-Wolves, and Jim Peterson. And here's Pat Bev, Shasky. Before we get back out to the line to get your thoughts on this, Derek at SF, you're on deck. Here's Patrick Beverley. This is on the Pat Bev podcast, correct? Pat Bev podcast. Here's Patrick Beverley's thoughts on what went down yesterday at Chase Center.
Dude, I seen Draymond choke Cat bogus as hell.
What?
No.
Cat's bogus?
Yeah, he's bogus, man. Cat bogus, man. Straight up. And Ant was back there, too. And Draymond knew, too. Don't nobody like Rudy anyway. That was a perfect moment to do it. Like, That be choke Rudy ass.
And he did not let go.
No, a person choke you like that, don't let go. That was built up. But then I see Cat make a mean mug face like, but then you ain't doing it. Choke Draymond back. So now, if I'm Draymond, I choke they center and they homies didn't do nothing. If we play y'all in the playoff, Cat, I ain't worried about you. You didn't even help your homie.
So how can he rectify this?
Can't. So what? And you can't even try to get your get back. So what? The whole world I'm saying.
Thanks, Cat.
He in the game.
Oh, he's still playing? He didn't do.
Fucking why would he get booed? He didn't do Cat, nah, that. I taught you better than that.
I mean, Patrick Beverley's an absolute clown. I can't even laugh at it. It's Patrick Beverley. He's one of the most delusional players this league has seen in the last 20 years. What are you talking about?
I think we
he's jumped the shark.
Yeah, exactly.
Patrick Beverley is out of his goddamn mind.
Before you go back out to
excuse my
no,
French
I'm
there.
with you on that. Can we just make a distinction? There's a difference between being in a real life situation where it is like someone is threatening you or your family or whatever, and playing sports. Now, in this particular instance, Klay Thompson, I don't know. You could interpret it a lot of different ways. I understand people saying, oh, he's getting, bear hugged, or maybe Gobert's holding him so someone can hit him. Whatever. You want to make that argument? Fine. I would just ask this. How come Kevon Looney, who we all think is really tough, okay? He may not be the most athletic, and he's not as demonstrative as Draymond, but we all think that Looney's tough. Like, you think Looney's tough, right?
Yeah, no, Looney's no punk. He's from Milwaukee.
Right?
No Looney. The
right?
Looney's they didn't raise no punk.
Spadoni, we all think Looney's tough. We never see Looney do any of this stuff.
Right.
And we always file him under hard-nosed, blue-collar, no one's going to mess with him. He's tussling with the toughest guys in the league and never does any of this stuff. How come he doesn't do it? Like, why do we give Draymond a pass?
Karl-Anthony Towns was trying to pull Draymond off of Gobert. He actually tried to attempt to choke on Draymond Green. But Draymond Green is built from Saginaw and tucked his chin and was like, yeah, you're not going to get that arm through on my neck. I mean, it's a great move by Draymond Green. But Pat Bev, what is he talking about? Like, nobody liked Gobert and this and that. Now, the teammates may not like Gobert after what happened last year during the play-in tournament when he hit Kyle Anderson in the chest. There is some teammates that get annoyed by Rudy Gobert. They do think he's a little soft.
Not everyone's going to like everyone.
Right. But I just don't agree with Pat Bev.
You think that Draymond has unanimous praise in that locker room currently?
I wonder. I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. But I wonder if you know how it feels. And I wonder, no, let me.
The way that we look at Pat Bev is the way a lot of NBA fans look at Draymond.
They do.
And I know Warrior fans don't want to acknowledge that.
But that's how they look at Draymond.
You got to take a step back.
Right. I just don't want – who is Pat Bev? He's not even playing with the Sixers, right? Pat Bev has been traded 50 million times. How's that act wore out for him? All it did for Pat Bev when he got into it with KD, you pissed off KD and he dropped 50 on you in the elimination game. So I don't want to hear it. I thought it was something funny. Pat Bev is sitting on the bench with the Sixers. They will trade him for an upgrade in a heartbeat. Trust me on that one. You think Pat Bev finishes the season with the Philadelphia 76ers? I'll take that bet.
Well, and back to the Warriors, it's like you lost the game. You lost your best player, Klay, who going into the game you would think was your best player. You lost your second best player going into that game in Draymond Green, and then you lost the game. And now you're going to lose Draymond for more. So all these people, defended Klay's right. All right. Well, if that's what you want, there's ramifications. And when the Warriors are in the play-in game or don't make the playoffs or aren't getting a favorable matchup, you're going to look back at this little stretch of games and you're going to say, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
And by the way, everybody's praising Podziemski, and he had a really good game. But the same people who are praising Podziemski are ripping Jordan Poole left and right. Well, Jordan Poole's the type of player we're missing right now. A guy who could blow by a defender and create and get to the rim. And try to make the game easier. That's the exact player we need right now. Go figure. So you want to go ahead and rip on Jordan Poole? Go ahead. He's not here anymore. And the guy who kind of derailed last season is still on the team. Let's be real. Draymond Green admitted it. Draymond Green ruined the vibes of last year. And everybody knows it. So you could be in denial all you want to.
The old Warriors were better with Draymond on the floor. This version of the roster that you've seen right now, could you make an argument they actually might be better playing without Draymond Green?
No, they need Draymond Green. But it was something I touched on yesterday. It was interesting when they lost to Cleveland. They were down 10 when Draymond got ejected. They immediately went on a 17-7 run. Draymond Green didn't play against the Denver Nuggets, and you saw the offense flow a little bit better. It flowed a little bit better. But Draymond Green is needed. He's actually playing really good basketball right now. And we're not talking about it because of the other stuff. Let's go to Derek in the city. Derek, what's happening? You're on the roast.
How's it going? I'm a first-time caller but long-time listener.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate that.
Yeah, so before I was 4 rows back from the bench of the Warriors last night at the game. So, you know, I saw it all, heard it all. And also before I get to that, I want to shout you guys out because I'm a first-time caller. But I was at Elmwood Correctional Center, and there's a lot of negative time. And you and Shasky used to have us rolling in the morning over there. We could have been all in this negative stuff, but y'all really had us together with the laughter.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys for that.
Thank you very much. That really means a lot.
My opinion on the Frockus, Dre is Dre. We all know who he is. I feel like he came in, because I was right there. I feel like he came in, had Clay's back. Clay was, Gobert a lot of people have some sort of feelings on Gobert, whatever. But I think Dre had his back. But at the same time, this is like ejection number 80 for Dre. Like, what are we doing? We need some wins. So I get it. But Day-Day is Day-Day. Joe Lacob signed him to another contract. They know who he is. They know he's going to get about 6 ejections a year, and sometimes in the playoffs, which is awful. So that's just my thoughts on Frockus. I thought Clay shouldn't have been ejected.
Yeah.
He was just standing up for himself. Yeah. But Dre probably going to get a 1 to 3. He's going to get a 1 to 3 suspension. But I'll take your thoughts off air. Thank you guys again.
Anytime, Derek. Yeah, I think it's going to be 1 to 3 games. 1 to 3 games. Should Clay have been ejected? I don't think so. Nor should Jaden McDaniels have been ejected. They were tussling back and forth, but let's not get it twisted. If you watch the play over, Clay initially grabbed the jersey. So as we're defending, it's pretty ironic because we're defending Draymond Green for jumping into Rudy Gobert, and I got no problem with Draymond Green having his teammates back. I really don't. I'm from the same neck of the woods. I got no problem. I don't know if I would have choked somebody, but I would have pushed him off my teammate for sure. No doubt about it. So I got no problem with that. But on the flip side, we can't say, well, Jaden McDaniels retaliated. He's cut from the same cloth probably. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's grabbing his jersey. He grabbed Clay's back. So we can't praise Draymond and then rip McDaniels for grabbing Clay's jersey back when Clay initiated it. That's it. Like, Jay McDaniels, and they're no punks either. They're like, hold on, man. We just beat you on Sunday. You're not going to just grab my jersey and punk me a minute 43 into the game. So, you know what? You can't be mad at Jay McDaniels for grabbing the jersey back. Now, should he have ripped it? They were tussling back and forth. Maybe we need better material on these jerseys.
Well, and Gobert can't grab Clay. If he's going to break up the fight, he grabs his guy, right? Yeah. Like, that's, to me, that is kind of like a known thing there. How many 30-point games in the career of Draymond Green?
Ooh.
Regular season.
Is it less than 10?
1.
Oh, my God.
How many ejections regular season?
What, about 18, 20?
18.
Yeah, 18, yep.
So USA Today did a whole breakdown here. Right. Between 2013 and 2019, all of his ejections, the first 7, 2013 to 2019, Curry was active playing in the game. Since then, it's basically been he gets ejected every single time that Curry doesn't play.
It's like 7 times in 115 games when Curry doesn't play.
He has 4 in a row right now.
Right, when Curry doesn't play.
Yeah,
yep.
11 ejections occurred in games in which Curry didn't play.
Right.
And they're all post-2019. What do you make of that?
Well, I had a conversation with somebody around 1 o'clock yesterday. Steiny could come in, and we're discussing this in the gatehouse when Steiny stopped by. I said, boy, watch Draymond Green. I swear to God, Shasky, I'm not even, no cap. About 115. It's like, Steph's not playing tonight. Watch Draymond Green. I'm very interested to see what happens with Draymond Green without Stephen Curry because I've covered this team for over 10 years now. I've seen this movie before. 2 quick texts, boom. Somebody at NBC yesterday, David Taylor would say, I remember the Lakers game during the 2019 season when they won 15 games. Draymond Green picked up 2 texts in like 10 minutes and got tossed. It's like, why? We need you. These young kids need leadership. They need a veteran.
Well, we file it under tough guy, but the outside perspective is front runner.
Yeah.
That's what people see.
Yeah.
when it comes to Draymond and the ejections.
Right. You know, I'm just saying just some dumb comments right now. Let's go to